It fires 700 rounds a minute, can be modified in seconds, and it's the rifle trusted by the US Army in every major war zone. This is the M4A1, lightweight, lethal, and engineered for war. But what really happens when you pull the trigger? We're taking you inside the mechanics of a modern combat legend. Before we get into what happens when a bullet leaves the barrel, let's break down what you actually see when you're holding an M4A1, the external components. Starting at the front, we have the barrel, which is typically 14.5 inches long. It's shorter compared to older rifles like the M16, making it easier to handle in tight spaces, such as urban combat or close quarters missions. At the very tip is the flash suppressor, which helps hide the muzzle flash, so soldiers don't give away their position with every shot. Running along the top and sides, you'll notice a quad rail handguard or Picatinny rail system. This is where soldiers attach items like optics, flashlights, laser sights, and vertical grips. It's basically the M4's modular backbone. Above the barrel sits the front sight, usually a fixed post, but many operators replace it with flip-up sights or red dot optics. The rear sight can be adjusted, but it's often swapped out for a scope or holographic sight. Then you've got the receiver, the central body of the rifle. It's split into two parts, an upper and a lower. On the back is the buttstock, which is collapsible and adjustable for length. It's what gives the M4 its compact edge. A soldier can quickly shorten it to fit in vehicles or tight spaces. Lastly, there's the magazine, usually loaded with 30 rounds of 5.56mm NATO ammunition. Slap it in and the rifle is ready for action. These external parts aren't just for looks. They're what make the M4A1 so adaptable in the hands of soldiers worldwide. Now let's open up the M4A1 and look under the hood, because this is where the real magic happens. At the heart of the rifle is the upper and lower receiver. The upper receiver houses the barrel, bolt carrier group, and the charging handle. The lower receiver contains the trigger mechanism, magazine well, and buffer system. These two parts are held together by just 2 pins, so it's easy to separate, clean, or upgrade. Inside the upper receiver is the bolt carrier group, BCG. This is the engine of the M4A1. It holds several key parts: the bolt, firing pin, cam pin, and gas key. When the rifle fires, the BCG moves back and forth, kicking out used casings and loading the next round, but more on the firing mechanism later. At the back of the rifle, you'll find the buffer tube and recoil spring. These help reset the bolt after each shot and play a big role in how the rifle cycles. Then there's the trigger assembly, made up of hammer, disconnector, and sear. This group controls when and how the rifle fires, and whether it's set to semi-auto or full auto. And finally, the gas system, a clever design that channels gas from each shot to keep the M4A1 firing smoothly. We'll see how these parts come to life once a round is fired, up next. Because what happens after you pull the trigger? That's when the real action kicks in. It all starts with the trigger group. When you pull the trigger, it releases the hammer, which swings forward and strikes the firing pin housed inside the bolt. The firing pin slams into the primer at the base of the cartridge and boom, the round ignites. That ignition creates high pressure gas, and here's where the M4A1 gets clever. Just above the barrel is a tiny hole called the gas port. As the bullet moves down the barrel, a bit of gas escapes through a small hole and into the gas block. From there, it travels through a gas tube and into the bolt carrier group inside the upper receiver. Here's the key: the M4A1 uses a direct impingement system. Instead of pushing a piston, the gas flows directly into the gas key mounted on top of the bolt carrier group, BCG. This sudden blast of pressure drives the BCG backward. As it moves back, the BCG unlocks the bolt, kicks out the used shell, and starts loading the next round. It's fast, it's efficient, while it runs hotter and dirtier than piston rifles like the AK. The M4A1 system is lighter, simpler, and laser accurate. One big reason it's the go-to rifle for the US military. And the wild part? All of this happens in just milliseconds. One trigger pull kicks off a full cycle of gas, metal, and pure motion. But that's just half the story. Now let's follow the bolt on its return and see how the M4A1 resets itself for the next shot. So the bolt carrier group, BCG, has been blasted backward by gas pressure. What now? As it moves back, the BCG compresses the recoil spring inside the buffer tube. Think of it like pulling back a spring-loaded slingshot. All that energy has to go somewhere. And just like a slingshot, the spring launches the BCG forward again. On its way back in, the bolt grabs a new round from the magazine and loads it straight into the chamber. This is the reloading part of the cycle, and it all happens automatically. Like clockwork, no button press, no reload needed. But that's not all. During the backward motion, the bolt also resets the hammer. So when the bolt closes and locks into place, the rifle is ready to fire again. The entire process from trigger pull to full reset is semi-automatic. That means one round fired per trigger pull, but flip the fire selector to auto, and the M4A1 keeps firing as long as you're holding the trigger, between 700 and 950 rounds per minute. What's remarkable is how smoothly all of this happens. There are no gears, electronics, or fancy mechanics, just gas pressure, springs, and precision engineering doing their job. In less than a second, the M4A1 goes from spent to ready again and again. That's the magic of its firing system and why it's trusted in the heat of battle. This reliability is critical in high-pressure situations. Whether clearing rooms or guarding convoys, troops count on the M4A1's flawless cycle to keep them alive and in the fight. This isn't just engineering, it's trust. So now that we know how it fires, let's talk about why it's still the go-to rifle for the US military. What makes the M4A1 not just functional, but exceptional? First up, versatility. The M4A1 is a true modular platform. Soldiers can attach scopes, laser sights, night vision optics, grips, flashlights, all without a toolkit. Thanks to its Picatinny rail system, it can be mission ready for just about any environment, from open desert to dark hallways. Then there's the compact design. Compared to older rifles like the M16, the M4A1 has a shorter barrel and a collapsible stock. That means it's easier to move with, especially in vehicles, tight spaces, or close quarters combat. It's lightweight but still packs a serious punch. Accuracy is another win. The direct impingement system keeps the recoil low, so it's easier to stay on target whether you're firing one shot or a quick burst. Combine that with custom optics and hitting your mark gets even easier. Plus, it's built for speed. The M4A1 can fire up to 950 rounds per minute in full auto mode, and it's quick to reload, cool down, and get back in the fight. Maintenance is also a big factor. The rifle is built to be easy to take apart and clean, even out in the field. It doesn't have a lot of moving parts, which means fewer things to go wrong, and that's exactly what soldiers need when things get intense. In field reports, soldiers often praise the M4A1's ease of handling during long patrols and firefights. Its balance of weight, accuracy, and speed makes it feel like part of the soldier. In combat, that instinctive control can mean the difference between life and death. Put all of these together and you've got a rifle that's easy to use, reliable, and built to get the job done. That's why M4A1 isn't just a weapon, it's the soldier's best tool in the battlefield. But the M4A1 didn't just show up overnight, ready for war. Its precision, strength, and reliability were shaped by decades of war, trial, and refinement. To understand why it dominates today, we need to look back at where it came from and see how it earned its stripes. The story begins during the Cold War. In the 1960s, the US military adopted the M16 rifle during the Vietnam War. It was lightweight and fired high-velocity rounds, but the early models had reliability issues in harsh environments. Over time, these flaws were fixed, and the M16 became the standard issue rifle for decades. By the 1990s, US forces needed something more compact for modern combat scenarios. That led to the M4, a carbine version of the M16 with shorter barrel and a collapsible stock perfect for close-quarter operations. Initially reserved for special forces and vehicle crews, the M4 quickly gained popularity across the military. Then came the M4A1, the upgraded version with a stronger barrel and fully automatic firing capability. It was built for sustained use in high-intensity combat. By the early 2000s and 10s, the M4A1 officially replaced the M16 as the standard rifle for frontline troops. Battle-tested from Iraq to Afghanistan, the M4A1 has proven itself in the harshest conditions. Soldiers trust it because it's reliable, adaptable, and combat-proven. Even today, the M4A1 is evolving, with smarter rails, quieter suppressors, and adaptability. It's more than a weapon, it's a war-forged tool trusted by those who go into harm's way. We've seen how the M4A1 earned its place on the battlefield, not just through history, but through precision engineering. From its modular design to the mechanics that reset after every trigger pull, we've broken it down, shot by shot. Behind every trigger is a complex burst of pressure, metal, and timing, and now you know how it all works. But here's the big question. With warfare and technology constantly evolving, is the M4A1 still the king of the battlefield? Should the M4A1 remain the rifle of choice, or is it time for something new? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into the gear that shapes modern combat, hit like and subscribe. There's a lot more to come.